Well, hello everyone. It is Karen Ann Harlos with another episode of Jurassic Dictionary, where we take a look at dead, dying, old, obsolete, or otherwise cool words that at least have some kind of historical spin. I really appreciate you joining me. I'm more well known for my political commentary at Pink Flame of Liberty, but history is certainly my lost love. The word this week is Interlard. That sounds kind of gross. And I had found some conflicting information on its history, but not necessarily its meaning. Now, the first known use in the meaning we'll be using here was around 1533, but there was a variant meaning that goes back about a century earlier. So that more literal meaning was fat of the beast. But since that seems to be the same as one of the root words here of lard, I can only presume that this means various layers of animal fat that are interspersed throughout a foodstuff or some other product. That would account for both the fat/lard portion as well as the inter portion of the word interlard. Now, of course, that is the noun definition. That would be the definition of the word as a noun. But there's also a verb usage of it. So rather than the interlard, you can interlard. And that is the meaning that I would really like to deal with today. So my notes say this refers to speech or writing, meaning to load up with or to pepper. Now that sounds kind of gross to us, but the original connotation was not negative at all. It was actually quite delicious. As back then, a nice greasy protein was luxurious and rich. Now, a more modern definition is to interject something that is different, that is contrasting, that is striking, that is unique. I'm almost thinking of like a mixed media fabric. I don't know if you're into sewing, which I'm starting to get back into, where it's like a one-piece dress that has a certain fabric on the top and then a different fabric on the bottom. So it looks like you have a shirt and a skirt on, but it's actually a mixed media dress. That would be interlarded if it was interesting. So here's another entry, and I'm finding this one fascinating. So looking at my notes, it can mean to intersperse, to scatter, or to mix, and to embellish a speech or writing with something different from or that which is irrelevant to a subject or matter. So it's kind of like going off on an interesting rabbit trail, one that might be distracting in a good way, that makes you a dynamic, interesting speaker. So an example I had found said, some advertisements are interlarded with jokes, which attract readers more than the advertisements themselves. And boy, is that true sometimes with advertisements today. You're like, what product is this actually advertising? But as to the various forms, and as you can see, I have my laptop as my notes today. The transitive form, to mix with alternate layers of fat. The transferred form, to intermingle or intermix a thing with. The figurative form, to diversify by intermixture or interjection. To interpolate, to interpose, which is considered obsolete. And another obsolete form is to smear internally with something. It is noted etymologically that this word derives from the French. I will not torture you by trying to pronounce any French. And in my explorations, I also know at one point there was a band by this name. So what do you think? This is definitely an old-fashioned-y word, but it's still in use. And I kind of love it, even though at first it sounded kind of gross. But when you thought about it, about the poetic and symbolic usage, I think it's actually quite cool. If you watch some of my content on my other channels, you will note that I am a fan of interlarding, though some may call it cockeratery, or perhaps I'm just a bit of a prick-me-dainty. Yes, I am using some of the other words on the show that I loved so much. So, if you like what I'm doing, please hit subscribe. I would really appreciate it. You can check me out on the other channels I alluded to, such as Pink Flame of Liberty, which is long-form libertarian political content, or Pink Parliamentarian, which is short shows like this that will give you quick and dirty tricks on Robert's Rules of Order. I may not look the part, but I am a registered parliamentarian. I look forward to spending more time with you, hopefully next week. But until then, I hope you have an awesome day. Interlard it with lots of interesting activities.